and welcome to the preview show. It's been a while again, Mitch.
Yeah,
we seem to be taking gaps, but it's the biggest week of the season for the Edinburgh Parsons Peebles Monarchs. We of course take on the Ipswich Witches, home and away this week. Mitch, we travel down to Ipswich tomorrow, Thursday night for the first leg of the playoff semi-final. And then of course we face them at Armadale on Friday evening. But before I discuss that with Mitchell, here's what's coming up on tonight's show.
Mark Riss on gate 1, Aaron Summers gate 2, Ricky Wells gate 3 and James Sargent on gate 4. The flying James Sargent, and look at the gate James has made there. Mark Riss is away again. Incredibly, it's James Sargent that's gone past him. Ricky Wells coming into the picture. He's not hanging around. Wells up on the outside of Sargent and he's gone by him. Superb riding by Wells there. Aaron Summers way off. Mark Riss also putting a lot of pressure on Sargent, and he might have got through there. Sargent just back round him again. Terrific race. Once again, Riss puts the pressure on as they enter the last turn, and it's Sargent who gets the second. Tremendous race. The Monarchs add 2 to their lead. They're 3 points ahead now, and that was some ride by Ricky Wells to get ahead, but what a good effort by Sargent as well.
That one was action right up to the end. One thing we know for sure, Ricky Wells taking the checkered flag.
As we said, Mitchell, biggest weekend of the season so far for the Monarchs. Is getting to the playoffs at this point an achievement in itself, really, with how strong the league is?
Yeah, I don't think we were tipped, to be as high up as what we are. We had a really good start to the season. Faded sort of, well, not really faded, but had a bit of a slump middle of the season, and luckily we finished with a couple of good wins, especially away from home, and really consolidated our place in the top 4 and showed we deserved to be there.
We're going to discuss that later on in the show, but just to look back over last week's action, of course a good win over Glasgow, tighter than most people would have thought, really.
I don't know. It's they're full of Armadale specialists as well. And we drew with them earlier in the season, so to get a win, I think that's a step forward. Albeit we would like to win by a lot more, but to win at the end of the day is the main objective, and keeps that rivalry strong between the two clubs, and feeds the fans and everything like that.
Of course, and I think the results suited both sides, with Glasgow taking a point, of course Edinburgh taking 3.
Yeah, I heard Stuart Dixon saying that that the way the results worked out, was probably the best way possible for both teams, to help their playoff chances, and so it worked out. Both teams are in the playoffs, and we all start again from now, and it's just two-legged semi-final.
Of course, and we sealed that by a big win at Workington on Saturday. Both Eric and Ricky scoring maximums. Really a good achievement, really.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Everyone chipped in with points. We were all working well together, and Ricky was flawless, and Eric was a joy to watch around there. I even said it to him after one of his races. He was, the way he was riding the track, and it was just class to watch. So it was real good for both boys to get a maximum and paid maximum, and to get a big away win.
As I say, it was a great achievement for the Monarchs to reach the playoffs at the very minimum. But did you feel the sense of that as a team after the meeting, that you had now qualified for the playoffs, and there's the title kind of aspirations are still alive?
It was a bit weird in a way, because in a way it felt quite sort of easy, and I don't know whether we felt almost after the win on Friday that we'd maybe done enough then, and we just sort of, I don't know. I felt a bit more relaxed going into Saturday, like there wasn't as too much pressure after obviously getting the win over Glasgow. But at the same token, a few fans come up to me after the meeting and said, "That's it. We've qualified again for the finals, and that's the main objective." So you've got to be happy with that.
And of course, finished above Glasgow for all the Glasgow fans who like to watch us every week.
Yeah.
Just as we say, we're going to look ahead now to this week's playoff matches. Of course, and this is this week's team lineups. Interesting to see both sides for this one. Mitchell, of course, Sam going to number 3, Ricky going to number 1. Probably good for Sam at this stage of the season. Of course, he's just come back from injury. He's probably not hit his peak form since coming back, but he's still winning races. But I think that maybe a stint at number 3 will do him the world of good.
Yeah, when Ricky went number 1 earlier in the season, it almost gave Sam a new hunger. He likes that number 1 race jacket. So, for him to move to number 3, he likes being the top dog, I think. So, he's gonna push hard and win as many races as possible, I think. And Ricky's been doing a great job, and Eric at 5, well, 1, 3, and 5 probably one of the strongest sets in the league, I think.
Do you think that makes us even stronger having but obviously one of the best riders in the league at number 3?
Yeah, he's been on good form. He had his injury, but he's come back and he's finding his feet again. You can see it race by race. Sam's getting better. Getting back into it. So, could this work out in our favour? It very well could.
Yeah, of course. And just looking at that Ipswich lineup, of course, Mason Campton comes into their side in place of Justin Sageman. Cameron Heaps is RR as well. Obviously, it's difficult to get into any match with RR. It never seems to suit any side, really, in the main, of course. But Mason, we've seen last week against Workington, he had a really good meeting then. He's a rider that can go well around Armadale, and looking at the scores from earlier in the season, he's one that goes well around Foxhall. But of course, he's going to be directly up against Sam, so it's going to be a tough battle. But do you think we've got a wee advantage there?
Oh, you'd like to think so. With if you look at opposing numbers, Sam should have that one. But Mason has been on really good form at the end of the season, and he spends a lot of time with Ricky, so he gets a few inside tips and that from Ricky, and hopefully it doesn't come back to hurt us. But I think Sam should have the upper hand.
Cameron Heaps obviously is going to be a big miss for Ipswich. I think he's had a really good season for Ipswich and in the Premiership for Somerset as well since he made the move there. He's a rider that could have made a difference in this match.
Oh, for sure. Another one who's really quite good around Armadale. He's always been good, I think, nearly every time he's attended. And again, very strong around Ipswich. So for them to be missing him, I think, it could hurt them. But then again, it depends on who's taking the RR rides and what they're scoring on the night. Could benefit, it could hurt them. We just have to make sure that it hurts them more than benefits them.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Justin Sageman's going to be missing for this one. Ex-Monarch, of course, double league champion. Ipswich will look at that as a huge miss for them, because that could have potentially tipped the balance in Ipswich's favour, although they still do have Rory Sline and Danny King in there. Sedgwick could have been the match winner for them, especially at Armadale.
Could have been, yeah. It's one of these things. That's the problem when it's a long season, and your body takes a fair bit of damage throughout the year, and unfortunately Sedgie's had to pull out through injury, and I was speaking to him a few weeks back, and it sounds like a pretty nasty one. So once again it could prove the difference. Sedgie definitely knows the quick way around Armadale, and yeah, he's always a strong scorer, strong competitor, and a really fast gator. But like you say, they're not lacking anything with Rory and Danny as well.
Do you think that's going to be the big test for Ricky coming up against somebody like Danny King back-to-back nights?
Could be, but Ricky's hungry at the same time. He likes winning races. He gets quite fired up in the pits if he's not winning races. So if things go his way, he's been having a really good run. So long may it continue, and bring it on. I'm sure he's thinking.
Eric, of course, as you say, maybe there was a part of the season where he had hit a little dip, maybe trying too many different things at the one time, possibly. But since he's made the switch to number 5, he's been very impressive. Of course, he seems to be coming on to an even better run of form just now as well. Yeah,
Eric's like sort of style and the way he rides the bike, you can see he's been getting more and more comfortable as the season's drawing to an end, and he's a real classy rider to watch, and he's sort of coming into his own element, and in a way he's probably secretly putting his own claim out there for the number 1 race jacket. He did had a few results that didn't go his way, but at the same time Eric's so focused individually, and he knows what he wants to do and what he's got to do, and he's a real strong rider to have at number 5.
You mentioned earlier on about opposing numbers, coming up against your opposing number, looking at second string and reserves. We'll talk about the second strings first. Maybe Josh has found it a little bit more difficult moving into the second string role, but the step up, as we know, is a difficult one, and Mark, since he's come back, hasn't reached the permanent form that we possibly had before his injury. But looking at the second strings, of course, Cameron Heaps is RR, but Kyle Newman in there, that's a strong second string for Ipswich. It's really important that we outscore them in that area as well, isn't it? Yeah,
that's what it's going to come down to, and I think no last places from as many people as possible in the team. That's going to be the difference. Scoring points, and because it all counts towards the tally, home and away. So minimising zeros, and picking up the points away from home. But Mark and Josh have both showed how good they are around Ipswich, so there's no reason why that's it's not going to affect us.
Of course. And just to discuss the reserves in the matches previously this season with Ipswich, it seems to be one match we've got the advantage, the next match them. Is how important is it, as you mentioned, no last places, but especially away from home, to nullify their reserve threat with basically the form that you and Max can show? Yeah,
it's we could be the matchmakers, or could cost us a match, without putting too much pressure on it. They have a very similar sort of, I guess, reserve structure to what we have, with Max being sort of the high scoring, and they have Nathan Greaves, and you have myself and Connor Mountain, both, sort of back in championship. Him, I think it's his first year in championship, so we're very, very balanced in a way, so we have to make sure we get the upper hand where we can.
Danny, Ipswich face Edinburgh Monarchs in the playoffs. Are you confident getting into this one?
Yeah, it's always going to be tough. Edinburgh are the only team to beat us at home this season, so I'm sure they're obviously aware of that, and they're going to be bouncing on that for confidence. But I think we're in some good form ourselves at the minute. We got a good point at Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago, and we're really going good at home. So it's certainly not going to be easy, but it's just another step in the hurdle and get into the final.
Would Edinburgh be the team that you would have possibly wanted to avoid when Sheffield were making their pick?
It's tough, all 4 teams who have made the playoffs are strong. I think if there's one team you could pinpoint who's not in the best of form, you'd obviously have to say that's Glasgow. Losing 3 times at home in probably the last 3 meetings, it's not ideal, but they're strong on paper, just as is Edinburgh. I don't think it really mattered where we got to go. We've got to race everyone at some point, so it was out of our hands, and that's that.
How difficult is it getting into this stage of the season with a couple of riders missing? Obviously, you've got Mason Campton, who's replacing Justin Sedgman, and you're missing Cameron Heats. They're two fairly big riders that you've got out there, but Mason comes in with a bit of knowledge of Armadale at least as well.
Yeah, that's right. I think we've got some good guests, should I say, in Mason, and obviously the RR is pretty good for us because everyone by myself can have a ride. So, yeah, it's not ideal. We'd rather have a full team, obviously, and certainly running RR in meetings like playoffs is risky because if there's any injuries, you're running short of riders, and these playoffs are an aggregate thing, so you need to get as many points as you can.
Is it a nerve-wracking experience, the playoffs, Danny?
It can be, but I've been there before in pretty much every league, so I'll be telling the boys just to treat it as a normal meeting. You can't go out and think any differently. Yeah, we need to do what we've been doing at home on Thursday, and hopefully we can come away with a nice lead. But if not, we're capable of doing something at Edinburgh as well. So not going to be easy, that's for sure. But just one meeting at a time.
How would you sum up the Ipswich season? So, Danny, would you say it was a success? I mean, making the playoffs is obviously the number one objective, but as a whole, would you class it as a success?
I think you have to. It's been tough. It really has. We lost a lot of riders this year, and we've really stayed in there. And to finish, I think we finished second. I think that's a good sign. To finish second in the league, and you've not don't feel you've had a great season regarding team and changes and injuries and things. I think that shows a lot. So we need to try and get our heads down now, and this is the business end of the season, and try and get something out of it.
Do you think this has possibly been the toughest season at probably Premier League for old money and Championship that there's been with maybe some less teams in the league, but it's made it kind of tougher with the level of quality it's in it? I
do. I think it's a very strong league. I think results show that all over. There's been some very strange results all round, and it's a very competitive league. It's good. I enjoy riding in the Championship, and I'm really, really pleased that we're in the position we're in now, and playoffs are here. It's ours for the take, and we need to go out and do the job.
Just looking kind of further ahead into the possible final, the other semi-final between Sheffield and Glasgow, would you expect Sheffield to get through in that one?
I mean, I think you would, but personally, I don't think it's going to be easy because although, as I said earlier, that Glasgow have been struggling, on paper they are solid. They're absolutely solid, and if they start performing how they should perform, I think Sheffield could be in for a big shock.
Is Sheffield's home form really their strength?
It definitely is. Certainly, at reserve, I think they've got Jan Gravison in, and he's flying around Sheffield. And if you've got a reserve who's scoring you double figures, then you're not really going to lose. So certainly at home, yes, they're strong. But I think that Glasgow can be just as dominant on their turf. So it could be an interesting one. Danny,
does the fact that they've raced back-to-back nights add to the excitement as well? I mean, it's a fair old trek from Ipswich to Edinburgh. Does that add to the excitement of it all, so to speak?
I suppose it does. I mean, in a way, it's quite nice because you're getting it out of the way, and it's certainly going to be nice for the team who gets the win on the Thursday because you can try and finish the job on the Friday. Sometimes if you have a week off, you get. You start to settle and you lose your momentum. It's nice just to get the meetings done on the bounce, I think.
Excellent. Well, Danny, we look forward to welcoming you on Friday, and we hope you have a good couple of nights.
No problem. Thanks for that.
Just as we look at the season as a whole, Mitchell, is it strange to think that everything you've worked towards now hinges on 2 matches, essentially, at the end of the season?
Yeah, you don't get a lot of room for error, but, You've had I guess you could say a lot of practice throughout the year. We've had a hell of a lot of meetings, and hopefully everyone's got everything sorted. They got the bikes running how they want, and it does come down to just 2 matches, and hopefully we get to progress from there. Pick up another 2 matches in the final, but we have to focus on this one and worry about getting the job done.
Edinburgh have had their injury woes this season, which is, looking back over the last couple of years, maybe probably in the last 3 or 4 years, we've not had a lot of injuries, but this season we seem to have coped with injuries. Although the playoff qualification was the main aim throughout the season, that's been achieved. We've now got our full 1 to 7 back, but if we look at the other teams that are in the playoffs, they're not as fortunate as Edinburgh. Does that give us a slight advantage going into the playoffs?
I guess in a way, you know, you're not. We all know each other well. We all get along well, you know, as a team unit. So, you know, there's nothing there, like, you know, to change things. You know, whereas if you got guests coming in and that, you know, can they upset the dynamic of a team? I'm not sure. They, you know, some people might. Some people will just fit right in and do the job. But, you know, to be back to our original 1 to 7, you know, it's quite a good thing in a way. And you know, hopefully we bounce well off each other and share you know, what information we have, like on what's working on the track and what's not, and use everything to our advantage.
You mentioned at the top that Edinburgh went the most fancied side getting into this season. I don't think there was many people tipped Edinburgh to make the playoffs. Is that a good feeling amongst the squad that essentially you've proved a lot of people wrong to even get to this point?
Yeah, I you know, if you look back at it, I guess you could think like that, but you know, we've never sort of had that feeling. We knew what we were all capable of at the start of the season. You know, we always said all along we're going to make it. So, you know, we did our best to make sure we make it, and you know, it's paid off for us. You know, having that self belief, you know, in our fellow team members and that, and yeah, you know, for people to write us off, you know, that's why they're only the ones sitting behind the pen and paper writing it. And, you know, they're not the ones with the, you know, the pressure doing it on track or anything like that. So yeah, it's a win in a way, but you know, we always want to win overall. And
both individually and as a team, do you think it's been a successful season? I mean, for yourself to come back into the championship, I mean, we've discussed it before, you maybe wanted to do a bit better, but all in all, now that we've got to this point, would you class it as a successful season?
Yeah, in a way, you know, I've had a lot of ups and downs, like personally, so, you know, it's tough. You know, you always want to be consistent and chip in as much as you can to help the team. Sometimes that hasn't gone my way, but, you know, I had a good one at Scunthorpe, I had a good one at Workington, and you know, maybe I'm hitting the you know, a bit of form right at the right time. I don't know, but you know, that's what you just got to keep working towards. And yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's our individual performance counts towards the team's objective. So you know, you have to really make sure you're doing it for yourself, but then in return you're helping the team.
Of course. Ahead of this week's clash, we're going to look back on Mike Hunter's Blast for the Past. It's some classic playoff action, and we can go to that now.
Gate 11, Andrew Tully rides from gate 1. Josh Ottey right next to him in gate 2. Ashley Morris, gate 3. And Ricky Ashworth takes the rider replacement ride this time. Tully lifted badly from the tapes there, and that's let Ricky Ashworth go steaming round the outside. He's in front. I think Tully's already passed him, hasn't he? We'll see what he can do this time. He's angling for a similar move, but he's got Josh Ottey there as well. This could be very interesting. Tully really surging forward there. Ottey's coming blazing round the outside though. Lost a bit of ground. Tully, Ashworth on a really quick line on the outside there. He's using that outside dirt very well. This time Tully goes wider. Tully's trying absolutely everything. Some terrific riding. And look at that from Tully. What a burst that was. Tully is at magnificent form. Oh! Oh dear. Well, he lost the race win. I hope he gets the second. Well, we're not sure what was wrong there. Might be obvious from the film. I didn't pick it up. Go again. Visitors have gated, not surprisingly, from the better gates. Here comes Tully through the inside. It's Werner leading from Kroger. Snedding round the outside, Tully up the inside. Monarchs desperate to do something here. They're really messing each other up, the two Monarchs here. Sneddon wants to let Tully get a run, I think. Now now Tully hits the outside. He's come through, and Snedden's through as well. Kruger a bit unsteady down the straight there. Tully's getting himself on Werner's tail now. And Tully's through to the front superbly there. What a ride by Andrew Tully. Sensational. Well, a 4-2 from the back in spite of not being on the best gates. Derek Snedden finger pointing at Kruger. I think, to be honest, Kruger was out of control there, to be fair to him, and didn't mean to run into Derek Snedden's path. That's how I saw it anyway.
Some excellent action there once again from Mike. All that's left to say is that if you want to buy your tickets, you can go over to the website now. Make sure you buy your tickets before 12 o'clock on Thursday for the discounted rate from the official website. You need to be there, Mitchell. These are the biggest two matches of the season this year, of course. As we say, we're down at Ipswich tomorrow for the first leg of the playoff semi-final, so we could cheer the boys on to making the final on Friday night, which is what we're all hoping for. But until Friday night, and of course Friday focus and Saturday morning, it's good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night.